about anti-gravity. So now with this theory of anti-gravity, we can move forward into Close Encounters of the Foo Fighter Kind, Secret Research and Development in Anti-Gravity and Flying Saucers in the Third Reich, Germany, from 1925 to 1945. First close detailed photographs of Nazi Germany's free energy saucer dreadnoughts. It's very dangerous these days to talk about anything that the Nazis did, especially anything of interest or anything that's not bad about them, even if it is a technology. There are many factors. The guys from Nybrid, the Anti-Defamation League, would be very quick to point out that this is probably a neo-Nazi propaganda. With our 2-hour documentary film on the Satano-Lucifero illuminated roots of Nazism in Germany, I think we've made quite abundantly clear that we do not stand for, when I say we, these are the several people that work on the film, we do not stand for anything that is neo-Nazism, because this is just another coin of the global Illuminism. Every time they accuse me on a radio show of being a neo-Nazi, I simply say, what is a Nazi? I mean, what is a communist? Aren't these the same commun-Nazis? Aren't these the two sides of the same coin? What is a Nazi and what is an Illuminati? Aren't these the same other two sides of a bigger coin, the Illuminati coin?
How many people understand that distinction, though? That's the problem.
Well, I can point to literature sources. Hannah Arendt is the best source here in this country, Origins of Totalitarianism by Hannah Arendt, that basically equates Nazism with communism. Fascism is another book that our president wrote, which has dozens of pages of Nazi Party, National Socialist Party yearly meetings and the reports on these meetings. And you read them and you suddenly get these ants crawling on your back, the cold shivers on your back, because you realize that this could have been pages of a Communist Party yearly meeting. You can get 20 pages of the Nazi meeting and interchange them with the Communist meeting, and nobody of the guys that sleep in the room or do crossword puzzles or talk to their neighbor, just waiting for the time for the whole damn thing to finish, would ever realize that they were just read 30 pages from a Nazi party. I mean, even the party is labeled in one word, the party with capital P. That's it. They don't even state the whole name, I mean, the Communist Party or the Nazi Party. And something else that I would like to point here is that, I mean, I'm coming from Bulgaria, a Slavic country, and in the Nazi racial and genetic purity doctrine of the creation of the super race, the supermensch, the Slavs had genes that were expendable, so ergo all the Slavs were destined to become the fertilizer for the agricultural fields of the 1,000-year Reich. And true to their philosophies, they butchered probably about 30 million Slavs, 20 million Russians, 6 million Poles, and the rest here and there, which makes about 10 Slavs to every Jew that perished in the concentration camps in Germany. 10 times as many Slavs were killed in the Second World War without making much noise about that. I mean, the Slavs do not have as strong a voice as other communities here in this country. So it's very hard to accuse a Slav of being a neo-Nazi. It's like accusing a Jew of being a neo-Nazi. I mean, we've suffered so much by the Germans. This is a little kind of a statement of a political lineage of myself. What I'm interested is not in the Nazi propaganda. I'm interested in the hardware that was created by the Nazis and passed on to all the superpowers, Russian, British, and Americans after the war, and has been used or abused ever since. The Nazis created all the hardware necessary for a standard run-of-the-mill little gray abduction scenario. They had the stun guns, the paralyzer phasers, they had the anti-gravity lifting tractor beams that would lift a body out of a house. They had the special radiation. When you radiate a house with the roof of the house, it makes the roof transparent so that you can lift the victim through the roof without making damage or any visible cause or scar to either the roof or the human being. This is called throughportation. It came as a byproduct of the Philadelphia experiments for the Americans. I mean, the Nazis had that developed much earlier.
How come they didn't win the war if they had all these fantastic devices?
Excellent question. This is one of the best questions. Actually, we would institute the Golden Question Mark Award. This is the Golden Skeptical Award. 3 tapes for first award, 2 tapes for second, and 1 audio tape for the third. For the best skeptical questions during this 10-hour seminar. I mean, this is how I get my most important feedback, by the way. The most harsh, attacking, skeptical questions are the ones that I love most. I'm coming from a European tradition of very hard arguing and, how should I say, basically quite heated academic disputes that remain academic. Basically, we attack each other's positions and each other's statements, but not personal attacks. So I greatly admire all these skeptical questions that come from the public. And here we have our little race. Now, let's go through the slides that we have. Where did the Germans build all this stuff? I mean, Germany was bombed flat at the end of the war. They couldn't make a truck run and work. They had no gas for the trucks. Well, that was the first question that came to my mind. I mean, where the hell would the Germans build these things? And then I remembered Bill Cooper's book about the excessive, tremendous underground construction that has been going on after the 50s in this country and all over the world, by the way, camouflaged under nuclear bomb shelters. The Luciferian presence on the planet very skillfully creates a fake threat, the nuclear threat of the other superpower, in order to force the governments to build these tremendous underground projects that are used later for other purposes. If there is a adjudication coming down to the planet from the Trinitarian management, what a better place for the Luciferian forces to hide underground in their alternative to evacuation scenario than in these shelters that were built originally against a nuclear attack. Maybe the whole nuclear hoax and the whole whole Mickey Mouse Cold War were created just to have the reason for building of these underground shelters. So, where the hell did the Germans build their saucers? Bill Cooper has been talking about underground construction here on the planet. And then I realized that on some of the photographs, this looks suspiciously like an underground factory. And I look carefully at the wall here, and sure enough, the walls look like hewn out of solid rock. This is a V2. This is a V2 assembly line in the finish stage, where the engines are attached to the fuel tanks. The rocket is still naked without the outer shell. Here, this is an assembly line for the fuel tanks. The size of the air conditioning immediately will allow an air conditioning engineer to calculate the space that is air conditioned. And we are talking about monstrous spaces. Here it is, the rock, the wall, hewn out of solid rock. Very rarely, usually the photographs will be done like this. They don't want to show that there is no end to the tunnel. They don't want to show the real size of these complexes. That's why they would they would not publish photographs where you